It's time for the Douglas Coleman Show. Mr. Smooth and Savvy is joined by guests from all walks of life, from the entertainment industry to authors to political and social commentators, the famous and not so famous, the controversial and the light and fluffy. We have it all. Now, here's Douglas Coleman.
Okay, please welcome back to the Douglas Coleman Show, Dr. Katherine Hutchinson-Hayes. Hello, Dr. Hayes. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. Nice to have you back on the show.
My pleasure.
So as we were just talking about, you were on about 3 months ago, and you had a book called God's Little Black Dress, I think was the title of the book.
That's correct. Yes, God's Little Black Dress for Women, How to Put on the Full Armor of God Without Losing Your Femininity. And I was also working on another book, it's called Focus, 45 Devotionals to Keep Jesus in the Picture. And that came out December 14th. That was a collaboration. I was the editor on that.
And now you've got a new book called A Fifth of the Story. And
Correct.
I can't quite tell what this is about. Can you give us just a little summary of what this book is about?
Yeah, so if you look at the cover, there's like a picture of it's definitely the White House, that's distinctive, and then there's a picture of this real tough-looking guy. He's got on a special agent badge from the CIA, and basically the story revolves around three friends. One in particular, my protagonist, Brock O'Reilly. They're CIA agents, and they have something horribly go wrong overseas in a mission that they're involved in, and they come back. They have to answer to their boss, and then in the midst of all of that, there's this attack on U.S. soil, and Brock finds himself in the middle of this mess, and so he finds out that there's been some kind of breach that not just threatens the nation's safety, but his own life. For some reason, someone's trying to kill him and kill people who are really close to him. And it's like this ticking clock, and he's trying to keep his field officer's wife and children safe and out of harm's way. Yeah. So it sheds light on maybe some of the things that are happening in real time here in our country. And it's kind of like that what if factor.
What genre would you put this book in? Thriller?
Yeah, this is definitely thriller. It's a little bit of espionage in it, suspense.
Is this a new venture for you, or have you written books like that before?
No, this is a completely new venture for me. I'd known that there was something to it because I placed in various writers' conferences in flash fiction, in short stories with the thriller aspect involved and suspense involved. And so I really love this genre, and I didn't think I would be able to pull off an entire book. But I was able to do it. And I pulled it off I wrote this book on the fly in about 10 months, and the rest is history. I'm hooked. I've already written the second book. I'm working on the third, fourth, and fifth book. They're all outlined already.
Do you find that the story is just writing itself and it's just waiting for you to put it on paper?
Yeah, and in a lot of ways I am, and I like for each book that I've been writing, I've noticed that there's certain characters that start coming out more and more to me, and they want their story to be told. So I never saw this coming in this particular book, A Fifth of the Story. She was really a secondary character. She's the wife of one of the CIA agents, and not a centralized character, but she just became larger than life, and she wanted her story to be told. So her story is actually my second book.
What else do you do, or are you a full-time author?
I consider myself a full-time author, but full-time authors have to eat, so
right.
we have to do other things. All right, you definitely can't wait for books to come out and just roll in the dough, if that ever happens. So I work as an editor and as a book coach. I also frequent writer conferences. I do a lot of teaching speak keynoting, and I love doing workshops. So that's pretty much what I do. I do a lot of freelancing, and so I work for a few publishing houses in book coaching and editing.
Okay. On your bio, you've got some topics that you might want to consider. And I don't know if you wrote these or who wrote these, but they're sort of talking points, and I wanted to hit a couple of them if you don't mind. The second one, number 2, says leading from the heart to win people's hearts.
Yeah, I learned that as a school administrator. I spent years in the classroom, and then I actually spent longer as a school administrator. And my degree in leadership was so valuable in reinforcing the things that I intrinsically felt, that for people to really want to follow you, they have to see your heart. You have to be transparent and genuine. So I tried to lead from the heart. I tried to be someone who stayed low. And what I mean by staying low is no matter how many degrees or how many accomplishments you think you have, to stay low and to stay humble, to stay in the trenches with other people, to show that you're not above it all. Like if I had to get up and give my staff a staff development or a pep talk, or I was leading a workshop or whatever, and I had to say, hey, we're all in this together. And if one teacher is failing, we're all failing. If the custodian is failing, we're all failing. We all have to come alongside each other. Now, they would see that I'm being authentic because they'd seen me grab a mop and a broom if our custodial staff was down with the flu, which had happened, and we're having a visit from the district office, and we've got to get this place tidied up. Or I have to be the nurse because our nurse is out, and our students, we have diabetics, we have children who have EpiPens and the like. And so, just leading from the heart by being a transparent, authentic person who stays low.
Well, I think you're right on the money with that, because particularly now with YouTube as an example, where so many people are creating content, the ones that are doing the best are the ones that have a direct connect to their audience in some way or another. And they all do it in different ways. But what I've noticed is that the old school style of content creation is going away. And the sort of one-on-one engage with the audience type content is really what's taking off. And I think, unfortunately, it's kind of left our political system in the dust, because that really was the pretense of anybody running for political office, was to try to connect with the audience. But as soon as they got elected, they forget all about the audience. And I think people are wising up to that's not the way it's going to work anymore.
Yeah, and some of those principles for me, and I just love that you said that we're moving away from that, and that we forget about our promises. And right, I think people are just getting frustrated and they're tired of being lied to. But we want to see someone who, shows warmth and an interest in their well-being, and they have a desire to connect. And then they want to see people who are going to help with the circumstance. It's what politicians may promise a lot and they don't deliver. And then we want them to keep their commitments. And then we want them to appreciate, respect, and courage and power. And we want them to take time, even when they don't have it, and to listen and to treat others' time as if it's important as yours. And then finally be as passionate about growth, about other people's growth and development in career, just as you would be your own.
Yeah, and I think it's going to go more in that direction. I think the days of the traditional political campaigns are over. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think for the older generation, it's hard for them because they don't know quite what to make of it. They're used to the politics of the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. But it's changed. And I see this more apparent every time we have a political cycle.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it does it ties in with what you're talking about. leading from the heart.
Yeah.
Let's hit another one here. Let's see. We've got the difference between a dream and a do-it-to-done mentality.
So the difference between a dream and a do-it-to-done mentality is lots of times we, unfortunately, organizations, and this is in terms of my talks to organizations or large groups, and more empowerment and encouragement and motivation. It's how many organizations, including school districts, they have these big visions and these big dreams about what we're going to do, and then you'll notice that in a year or two, a lot of these things will fizzle out, and then we're on to the next thing. And I'm like, what about that one thing? That was a really good plan. Why don't we do it, till we get it done? And so my thing would be I would take I'm just using this as an example. Sure, I would take the district's commission to whatever they would want us to engage in and whatever vision they had. But for my school, the schools that I was running, I always had our own vision of what we wanted to do. And then we would have steps on how to do it. And then we would have a timeline, and we would have who is in charge of what. And so we had a very clear path, a very clear vision as to how we were going to get to where we wanted to get. And so I felt good in that a lot of the goals that we set out to do and to accomplish were accomplished because we had a clear path to doing it. It wasn't just some dream or vision that was just out there.
I think too, when we were talking about content creation and people that have dreams of being a YouTube star or a musician or an actor or anything like that, there is an investment that is necessary. And I don't mean financially. I mean emotionally, and a commitment to your craft that sometimes people don't quite grasp how severe that's going to be. And
yes,
you notice that the people that are the real success stories are constantly working. They're constantly doing stuff. They're showing up everywhere you can imagine. And I think that's not possible for everybody. I don't think a lot of people just have that kind of energy or that kind of motivation. What do you think?
Well, I think it's dependent on your mindset. In fact, yes, being busy and being engaged in a lot of different things, organizations, job opportunities, it can be tiresome, but in a way it energizes people who have that get it done mentality. And so, well, I'm speaking about myself personally. I'm personally energized by being engaged with other people, by creating long-term goals and going after them, by being and staying motivated, by practicing resilience, practicing scheduling, practicing focusing. Even though I may have many tasks that I want to accomplish, I focus on one thing at a time. And it's just having that razor sharp focus on these goals and achieving them with high standards, not just achieving them, but with high standards. It energizes me and it makes me feel motivated to go for the next goal.
Are you one of these people that doesn't do plan B?
I don't really do plan B. Yeah.
Okay. I've heard that from other people before, some of these highly focused sort of people. And you ask them, well, what if this doesn't work? And they say, well, I don't do plan B. And that's always their answer.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. But yeah, I just have the plan and I don't think about plan B.
Well, I think there's a similarity there, a personality type. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Is that how you tend to be? You don't have a plan B?
I'm sort of 75% plan A. I'm getting older, and as I get older, I'm less focused to that sort of fine point, I'm a little bit more distracted by other things that I'm starting to feel like, you know what, maybe I should just do something else over here. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm getting a little bit scattered. I mean, if you'd asked me that question, 10 years ago, I would have said, no, I'm not a plan B person.
Okay.
But at this point, I'm sort of winding down, if you will. And,
Got it.
we have a new baby in the family, not mine, but he's my nephew. And so all of a sudden it's like, I just want to play with the baby now. I don't want to do this other stuff. I want to sit there and read him a story or do you know what I mean? Have that sort of quality time that really doesn't take a lot of effort. It's just something nice to do.
I totally get that. Yeah.
So, yeah, but, as far as my job, I do it the best that I can do it. I'm still doing about 10 interviews a week, which is, a fair amount. And I do all the editing for the video show and audio, and I just have, one other guy who does all my bookings and sort of online stuff. And, so I'm busy, but I don't have the drive to kind of, let's step this up. Let's do 30 a week. And do you know what I mean? No, that I don't want to do,
Yeah.
So anyways, well, we're kind of running down on time. So the new book is a fifth of the story. And is it out? Has it been released?
No, it will be out February 27th, but it is up for pre-order. It's up for pre-order on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and at the Endgame website, which is my publisher, and on my website, you can also pre-order it.
Okay. And I guess the last question, do you have a website that you want to give out?
Yeah, I'd love to connect with other readers, people who are in the industry. And my website is www.drdrkatherinehayes.com. So it's KATHERINE, Hayes, HAYES.com. Real simple.
Okay. And you did say that you had part 2. How many parts of this are there going to be? Is it going to be a trilogy?
5.
5. You've got that figured out already. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, super.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we look forward to those. And thank you for coming back on the show. It was nice talking to you. And best of luck with everything you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a blessing and an honor to be here. I appreciate it.